For some reason, we want to pretend that Elden Ring is better than what the fuck it is.
What?
It's a Souls game that is vastly overrated. And if anybody says that it's fucking not that good, it's not that they lying, bro. And every time I look at this game, every time I see it, I'm like, I'm just being real, right? Like, I'm just being honest.
Thank you.
Horizon wins, and Horizon wins for this one simple reason, my nigga. It's more deep.
I don't like where this is going.
There are more options on how any one player can attack an enemy.
No.
But when it comes to the whole battle system itself, Horizon wins, and Horizon wins for this one simple reason.
Stop!
Whereas Halo is only one motherfucking person, but you can build her in a way you want.
Please, lady, you don't understand.
So it's like, nigga, like, is Elden Ring better just based on your subjective opinion?
Not gonna lie, you guys look like absolute trash. But to be fair, that is my fault. I left you guys 6 days without your last hit of salt.
I think I might be coming down with something too.
Are you kidding me, dude? Like, I think you're gonna die.
But luckily for you guys, I can't afford for any of you to die because I have taxes to pay up the ass. So while you guys were busy spending the last 6 days tearing down that barricade I put up, I was perfecting my salt. And behold, I have taken the 2 greatest salts there is, the sacred Elden salt and the sacred pony salt.
Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
Yes, I fully expect the frenzied flame to engulf me for the heresy I'm about to commit, but do you want to live? If so, shut up and heat up the spoon.
I take Quaaludes 10 to 15 times a day for my back pain, Adderall to stay focused, Xanax to take the edge off, pot to mellow me out, cocaine to wake me back up again, and salt. Well, because it's awesome.
Today's Salt comes brought to you by a king of one of the most ratchet-ass podcasts on all of YouTube. Yes, I am talking about the man about as sharp as a bowling ball, King Thrash Gaming.
You know, what's 8 divided by 4? 18 divided by 4 is what, 6?
All right, buddy, now explain to me how exactly we're gonna calculate the totals.
Oh, it's easy, dude. You pour gas into the car using one of these funnels, right? And I count how much gas is going into the car.
Oh, that's 3. So, that's 3. So, like...
A lot of people might say I'm stupid. I don't know. I don't think I am. Like, I'm probably smarter than that. I mean, this thing here is smarter than me, I guess, but it has a battery.
So, per usual, he followed his weekly schedule of utter cringe, where he streamed for like, I don't know what, 5 hours or something, about how Xbox is bad, Xbox Game Pass is evil, it's a failure of a console, you know, the usual you would expect from PlayStation fanboys, who seem like they have more Xbox dedicated channels than anything else. And before you ask, no, I am not going to sit down here for 5 hours and intentionally inflict myself with madness just trying to watch it. But amongst the sea of garbage he calls a podcast, there was a nice little salty rant about Elden Ring. Something about how it's massively overrated, Horizon Forbidden West has better graphics, better combat, and is somehow a deeper game than Elden Ring. Oh yeah, and somehow this is all Xbox's fault.
Because Xbox is better. Because Xbox is winning. For some reason, we want to downgrade our experiences. For some reason, we want to pretend that Elden Ring is better than what the fuck it is.
Somehow, some way, it always connects back to Xbox for some reason. I believe your doctor should prescribe you some medication for whatever mental illness this is.
So is there a cure for autism? This is a very commonly asked question by parents.
Well, this is King Thrash. He probably can't afford that kind of prescription. So I don't know, maybe he should start charging Xbox for living in his head for so long. Now, I don't know what he means by a downgraded experience. Compared to everything else that's been released this year and last year, Elden Ring seems like a goddamn upgrade. And in reality, we have to pretend like everything else is actually better than it actually is. Elden Ring simply set a standard that exposed most of the AAA industry. Nobody is pretending it's better than it actually is. It's just that nobody can help notice how much better it is than everything else released by the industry. Now, if you want a good example of people pretending something is good, take a look at Gran Turismo 7.
And every time I look at this game, every time I see it,
you get more and more upset it's not a PlayStation exclusive.
I'm like, this game is not it. Elden Ring is not the best game made in 2022. It's not.
Well, you're not wrong considering 2022 isn't over yet. But up to this point, actually, if we're following PlayStation Fanboy rules, the best games are supposed to be the ones with the highest review scores and the most amount of sales, right? Yep, Elden Ring meets that criteria. I mean, unless you guys want to commit heresy and go against the Bible known as Metacritic, the go-to place for every single PlayStation fanboy when they want to prove PlayStation has the best games. So what is it? Are the scores wrong? Does Metacritic not count anymore? Are we gonna have to move the goalpost yet again? That's a lot of work. Okay, fine, but you're gonna have to move it on your own.
It's a great game, and a lot of people want to argue about this great game, but they only want to argue it because they want to say it's better than Horizon.
No, King, that's just the insecure side of you coming out. Best numb it down with some alcohol and perks. Nobody is saying Elden Ring is a great game or their favorite game or the best game of the year to slight Horizon Forbidden West. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure half the people saying this is a great game don't even know Horizon Forbidden West exists or ever gave two shits about it in the first place. You're being salty because Elden Ring overtook the conversation and made everybody quickly forget about the next big budget game from PlayStation. Hopefully this isn't the case by the time God of War Ragnarok comes out, but at this rate, I don't think people are gonna shut up about Elden Ring until 2024.
And I've watched journalists say that, oh, I see more people talking about Elden Ring. I don't even see people talking about Horizon anymore. I'm like, bro.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Okay, then.
I mean, I don't know. Look at it this way. It took a magnificent game like Elden Ring to get everybody's minds off the masterpiece known as Horizon Forbidden West. Does that help? I at least think of it that way.
They low-key talking about them like evenly. In fact, I still see Horizon to this day because people love doing that in-game photography they do. They like to show off the arts, and that's a beautiful game. To where I don't even think Elden Ring has that.
Well, first off, of course you're still seeing Horizon Forbidden West on your timeline. You follow a majority of PlayStation fanboy Twitter accounts. And if you want to say I'm lying, you can't. Don't bullshit me, King. I have a file on you. You know, it really says something when the most people can do for Horizon Forbidden West is utilize its photo mode for some nice pictures on Twitter. Whereas Elden Ring is getting videos upon videos, unraveling its deep lore, uncovering a lot of secrets, people actually painting their own artwork dedicated to the game. I mean, yeah, photo mode is nice and all. It really conceals Aloy's chubby cheeks, but I ain't lying to you when I say millions upon millions of people give more of a shit about some random NPC's lore and Elden Ring than the entire story of Horizon Forbidden West.
Elden Ring is a Souls game that is vastly overrated, and if anybody says that it's fucking not that good, it's not that they lying, bro.
Oh yeah, usually it's not because they're lying. Usually it's because they're incredibly salty. I mean, unless it's in the case of Quantum TV, because that guy was 100% lying.
Especially when it comes to fucking Horizon, when people want to compare the two, and they can. They are two open world games that are available on last gen consoles and this gen consoles, and they are both considered action RPGs.
I fail to see what the console generation has to do with it.
So yes, you can compare them two directly, but let me ask you something though.
Axe? Somebody's been hanging around a little too much around JTech TV.
Have you ever compared it? How does a review go? Right? Like how does a review make sense if they're not reviewed on even terms?
Well, that's assuming every single reviewer is gonna compare it to Horizon Forbidden West. Many may just compare it to other Soulsborne games, or some may not draw any comparisons at all. Hell, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that quite a few of them may not have even played Horizon Forbidden West, so they won't even have a comparison to draw whatsoever. But above all, they're not reviewing the game with the idea of being quote-unquote on even terms. What does that even mean? Are reviewers now obligated to play Horizon Forbidden West before they review Elden Ring? Is every single game supposed to be reviewed the same way Horizon Forbidden West is reviewed? I mean, it's one thing to ask for consistency, but it's another to ask for some unrealistic expectations.
I mean, I'm just being real, right? Like, I'm just being honest, dog. Like, objection! Graphically, right? Let's just go through it. Graphics. Horizon. Does anybody has an argument on that? Does anybody has an argument that Horizon is a better game graphically? Is there any arguments there? There can't be, because if there is, you're bold-faced lie.
Who exactly are you arguing with right now? The reviewers? They can't hear you. And if they could, they'd probably click off. What's your suggestion to them? Lower the score of Elden Ring because Horizon Forbidden West has better graphics? You can't score Elden Ring higher because clearly Horizon Forbidden West has the most detailed peach fuzz on the planet. So goddamn realistic, the internet asked Aloy to shave. I do like the way you phrased it though. Horizon Forbidden West is a better game graphically, as if to suggest graphics make a better game and should influence a review score.
Technically, right? I'm talking frame rates and resolutions and fucking glitches and pop-in. Who winning that? Horizon. Can anybody argue that?
Oh, so now performance and technical issues should be taken into account, huh? Where was this energy the last decade? Plus, Elden Ring was like universally trashed for its performance. So ain't nobody denying that Horizon Forbidden West is the better optimized game. It's just that nobody really gives two shits. Just like nobody gave a shit about it in 2017 when Horizon Zero Dawn was compared to Breath of the Wild.
Platforming, right? Like traversing the world.
Parkour! I'm right behind you, Andy!
They both have horses, right? Aloy can get different types of motherfucking machines to ride, where you have this Billy Goat horse that can double jump, right? But not only does she have that, she can actually climb. You can't climb in this other game.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
Oh yeah, you know, because everybody is demanding climbing mechanics. The new hot shit in the gaming industry. Climbing. The mechanic that changes it all. Does your game have climbing? No? Then don't even think about being nominated for Game of the Year, you dumbass. Sorry, IGN, but I couldn't help but notice there wasn't enough climbing in your review of Elden Ring. How can you overlook such a core mechanic of Horizon Forbidden West, which is clearly the same game as Elden Ring? I just want these games reviewed on even terms.
They have a fucking gliding mechanic to where to get you to traverse the You can't do that in Elden Ring.
Gee, it's almost as if they're not the same game. And if climbing and gliding and riding horses is such an important thing for you, then why aren't you bringing up Breath of the Wild versus Elden Ring instead? Better yet, if you want a game from 2022, then turn to Dying Light 2. But no, it has to be Horizon Forbidden West because obviously, Horizon Forbidden West does climbing mechanics and gliding mechanics better than every single game out there, and is apparently the new standard. Oh yeah, you know, nothing we've ever seen before. See, when he said review these games on even terms, he meant review Elden Ring as if it was Horizon Forbidden West.
She has a motherfucking grappling hook that she uses not only to grapple throughout the game, but to unlock puzzles and to do different shit. And, you know, they don't have that in Elden Ring. So platforming should go to Horizon.
Are they reviewing an open world action RPG, or are they reviewing a platformer? But most importantly, which reviewer is tallying up a score of any of this? But yeah, sure, King, whatever. Horizon Forbidden West is the better platforming game. How can such a core mechanic like platforming be overlooked by all these reviewers? It just ain't right. Elden Ring is clearly overrated. Meanwhile, Horizon Forbidden West has platforming on par with Mario Odyssey, clearly. Hell, Horizon Forbidden West can do everything in the world except make me smile when I play it. But it's 10 times better than Elden Ring, and I can reassure you.
Then you got combat, right? Both of them. Deep combat systems.
I mean, if King Thrash considers Horizon Forbidden West's combat to be deep, then I'm scared to know what he thinks of a puddle.
Both of them have different ways. With the Elden Ring, you choose a different type of, a type of person that you're going to be, a type of class, a type of build that you are going to make. Swordsman, fucking wizard, nigga, you know, 2 bitches, 2 swords, whatever the fuck, right? You have that deep where you get certain weapons that do certain things and certain weapons that don't do certain shit.
Very impressive, King. You managed to list, while a very minuscule amount, of the things that make Elden Ring's combat a lot deeper. Stat scaling, weapon arts, ashes of war, sorceries and incantations, summons, blocks and parries, backstabs, dual handing, dual wielding, shields, bows and arrows, PvP. I mean, I'm pretty sure the list of what makes Elden Ring's combat so deep is a lot longer than the list of what makes Horizon Forbidden West's combat so deep. I mean, when there are entire channels dedicated to experimenting and giving advice on different combat builds for Elden Ring, but I see none for Horizon Forbidden West, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that both share a very deep combat system. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's an entire PvP community dedicated to it. Why exactly do you think people have different builds? Because the combat system is so deep, they can't accomplish it with one character through one playthrough. Meanwhile, in Horizon Forbidden West, you can unlock all the upgrades in one single playthrough, and you don't have any other online players to test them out on. Now you tell me how deep that is.
Whereas Alo is only one motherfucking person, but you can build her in a way you want.
No, you can't. Stop. I would know, because if I could, she would have slimmer cheeks. I would do a goddamn Slim Quick build for that bitch.
You can make her stealth-based. You can make her trap-based, right?
A very impressive two options. Wow, what a deep combat system. I was wrong. And between the two, I would go with a trap-based Aloy. I mean, an Aloy that spits bars about selling drugs on the streets sounds a lot more interesting than an Aloy that you never really see.
But when it comes to the whole battle system itself, Horizon wins, and Horizon wins for this one simple reason, my nigga. It's more deep. There are more options on how any one player can attack an enemy.
What y'all doing in here? We doing pills, uppers and downers. They're the logical next step for you. I want some of that shit.
Horizon Forbidden West has a deeper, more deep combat system than Elden Ring, I guess. Dear Christ, somebody load my dab rig. I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna give you credit where credit is due. You at least said more deep instead of going for more deeper. So you're learning from your previous mistakes.
Because it's more hotter. More hotter.
He hasn't quite mastered adjectives yet, but at the very least, he understands something is seriously fucked up with his language. But I am intrigued to know exactly how Horizon Forbidden West gives you more options for how to approach combat than Elden Ring does. Because if that was the case, I'm pretty sure a lot more people would still be playing Horizon Forbidden West right now.
You can set traps no matter how your build is. You can fucking shoot glue on a motherfucker. You can use tripwires. You can fucking just use arrows, or you can snipe from afar with arrows.
What was that you said? No matter what build you're doing? Usually that means there's not a whole lot of depth to the game, giving no room for players to make their own unique Aloy. Or was that, you can shoot arrows? Oh, that's cute. You've been able to shoot arrows in From Software games since I was in goddamn middle school. And not just arrows, but also bolts, which have a variety of status effects you can inflict upon other players or enemies. And they have them in all sorts of ranges with different stats that scale differently to your character, because you know that's what depth would actually be.
With Elden Ring, you can also snipe from afar. You can also, depending on what type of build you have, you can do mages, or you can swipe a sword, or you can fight on horseback, which you can also do on on Horizon. So it's like, nigga, like, is Elden Ring better just based on your subjective opinion?
Look, King, I don't receive a dime of taxpayer money, so it's not my job. It was the education system's job to teach you that all opinions are subjective. Of course, these reviewers' opinions are subjective. It's a review. Just like your opinion that climbing, glue, and setting traps is what makes Horizon Forbidden West the better game, I guess. Were the reviewers supposed to sit there and undo all of their work because they didn't consider the fact that, oh, Horizon Forbidden West has arrows too, and bows, and horseback riding? Can't give Elden Ring this 9.8 because Horizon Forbidden West already does it. King Thrash really believes in his heart that what Elden Ring does, Horizon Forbidden West does it better and with more depth. You know what? That's fine, you're entitled to your own opinion, but if you're so sure of yourself and so firm on this opinion, then I don't know why you're struggling to bring up evidence that Horizon Forbidden West has more depth, because so far you've actually listed more things you can do in Elden Ring than you can in Horizon Forbidden West.
So should have Elden Ring, what is your rating system based on? If it's not only just better than Horizon, but better than 99% of the games that came out just period in the past 2 generations. How? 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 I'm asking.
Well, let's be fair here, King. It's not exactly hard to score higher than 99% of the games that have released in the last 2 generations. All it has to be is complete, have good gameplay, and yeah, I think that's about it. But do you notice there's never a question as to how do these PlayStation games get such high scores? When it's a high score for a PlayStation title, there's no questions asked, no investigation being done. The reviewers are correct when it's PlayStation, but when it's something else, now we gotta put them into question. Especially if said game is scoring higher than any PlayStation game, cause I take that shit personal.
I'm like, there's so many games, there's so many Souls games better than this, yet this is rated higher than every Souls game. Why?
Well, as a Souls veteran player, I can tell you it's definitely better than Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, but I still haven't really decided if I like it more than Dark Souls 1. And mind you, that's a pretty high bar to set. I guess you could say it's been quite a journey watching this franchise evolve, take ideas from its predecessors, improve upon them, leave out what doesn't work, take in what does. I don't know, I've personally enjoyed watching the progress of the series. It's like taking everything you like about the franchise and putting it in one game. This was always gonna be the next logical step for From Software. And well, I guess the results speak for themselves. You've got a magnificently well-crafted game built upon the ideas of previous entries that always worked. Only this one is bigger and more ambitious. Maybe that's the experience you would be having right now if you actually played the game instead of doing 5-hour-long podcasts talking about Xbox.
And I think it's that PlayStation just don't
make games as good as From Software. There, I said it for you.
PlayStation isn't giving these niggas the love that they expect now. Microsoft has been kissing ass and licking boots and giving out Xboxes and inviting people places and having meetings and talking to regular niggas like Paris and putting them on his motherfucking show because he was a cheaper buy. My nigga.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
What does any of this have to do with goddamn Elden Ring? Microsoft, Xbox. I fail to see how any of it connects. If it isn't Elden Ring, the only other thing on a PlayStation fanboy's mind is Xbox and Microsoft. So what, are the reviews on Elden Ring high because of Xbox and Microsoft and paid shills? I mean, he might have a point if this was an Xbox exclusive, but it's not. I don't even know how far down the rabbit hole of PlayStation fandom you would have to go to consider anybody who scores this game higher than Horizon Forbidden West to be an Xbox fanboy slash shill. There's way too much codeine in your stomach lining, King. Put down the bottle.
So because of this, because they go into shows like RDXs or even, what's that bald head nigga name? That nigga was in Hit Up the Head Part 2. Boomstick. They went to this nigga channel. You know what I'm saying? Talking Xbox. PlayStation don't do that shit. And so what they're doing is they're winning. They're not winning in a gaming aspect. And they're having their people and their fans and they're creating fans in places that they shouldn't if they wanted like clarity in what they are delivering as a company to gaming.
Winning. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure the majority of people playing Elden Ring are totally in it to win the console war. Such sound logic. Those goddamn Xbox people creating fans where they're not supposed to exist. He's like a machine gun of bad takes. Without a bulletproof vest, you're done.
They are making friends with Digital Foundry. They are making friends with Polico. You know, they are making friends with all of these different influencers. That nigga, what's that one nigga, that one nerd?
And this is the part of the video where it goes right back to the Xbox. I mean, thank God, watching him fumble and fail all those talking points towards Elden Ring was getting pretty painful. The man has done nothing more than create a safe space for PlayStation fanboys. That's what the whole channel is. Listening to a man high off his balls on codeine repeat the same talking points for 5 hours about why Xbox is bad apparently appeals to some people. I mean, I'm a pretty judgmental prick, but I ain't gonna judge on this one. I just want you guys to continue being yourselves. continue being salty. It's not like I can complain when it makes my job so much easier. Dear Christ, I can't even imagine how bad it's gonna be when Starfield releases. None of this question the critics on Metacritic about their review scores is gonna be around when God of War drops, but when Starfield drops, you can sure as hell bet you'll see that shit all over your timeline. I don't know what it is about Elden Ring, but it continues to supply an endless amount of salt. I mean, the game's been out for like 2 months already, and people are still incredibly salty at its success. And in all of my years on YouTube, I don't think I've ever seen a good game actually create so much salt. Usually you see salt from bad games, but in this case, I guess Elden Ring has committed the crime of just being too good. Just like the salt I pumped in your body that somehow kept you alive. So with this troublesome idea of a bunch of addicts still being active around me, I think I'm gonna close the video, and you should like, comment, share, subscribe if you so choose to, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Free Congo sucks ass.
Hello, everybody. It's Dark Side Phil. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill, stupid fucking trolls, man. I just want to chill. I rock back and forth on the X and Y axis. Tip me so I could catch up on back taxes, making large stacks, refunding chargebacks, and my laugh sounds like act